With the retirement of more than 20 yachts in the first 24 hours of this race, and the prospect of a very fickle light air transition after the gale that caused all of that damage, the outcome of this race is a very open book at the moment. And of course, hindsight is a wonderful thing, so it's interesting to look back at what some of the skippers and navigators had to say on Boxing Day morning when we asked them how they planned to get through that first night's southerly front, what lay ahead after that, and who they thought were short odds favourites for an overall handicap win.
It's going to be a nice afternoon, and then we're going to get the RSHYR knocked out of us over the next 24. My feeling is that you're going to need to be slightly east of the run line, but it's only a guess at this stage. Yeah, I think we'll know in about 3 or 4 hours. I wouldn't like to be in one of the 100-footers in that and the speeds they'll be doing. I think they'll have to slow down just a little bit, but no, we'll be racing hard out there. Well, I think that the weather is suiting an all-round boat.
So the running will be nice, the southerly will be fresh, and what comes after that I think will hold the story. So I don't think we'll know anything until sort of 48 hours how boats are faring. So to win our division is going to be a tall order, so I think we'll focus on that first. So whether it's Matt Allen or whether it's Concubine or whether it's Patrice or Wild Rose, it's yet to be seen.
You might see a little bit of 50-55 for a short time and then it will ease off. And then the difficult thing behind that is what direction we're going to have. Southerly, dead southerly is what's the forecast, so that's right on the nose, directly to Tasman. Will it go southeast? Will it go southwest? That's the tricky bit. Well, pushing it hard, yeah, you've got to look after the boat and the crew. So whilst we'll be trying to make the absolute best of it, I think we're going to be cautious for that first few hours. Like 3 hours is to be the most intensity, and you've just got to get through that. And boats, unfortunately, tonight will miss out on this race. So we just don't want to be one of those. I think a big boat's probably the go because it's going to get lighter at the back end on the 29th, even though it will go back around to the northeast. But there's this 28th and 29th is really messy and fluky off the Tassie coast. It's going to be tricky for everybody.
Probably very similar conditions to last year for the next 8 or 10 hours. We, knock on wood, knock on everything, right? We like our boat, and our boat has treated us really well so far. But you never know. You got to be smart, and you got to figure out how to keep it under control at times. The big thing is don't let that bad wave sneak up on you. You got to see it coming. Hopefully, front clears through. It clears up a little bit pretty quickly, and it's a full moon, and you can see the waves, and that's pretty important. If you can't see the waves, sometimes they can sneak up on you.
Well, we've got good Santa for about the first 8 or 9 hours, and I'm very pleased with good Santa. I said, Santa, I want downwind. So Santa's come good, but unfortunately as we approach the next day, we move from good Santa to bad Santa. And as everyone's fully aware, we run into, look, not a dramatic southerly, but it's going to be really solid. We'll see some gusts of 55 knots. And the bit I really don't like, and this is where bad Santa's really done me in, is lightning and heavy rain. It's going to be wet. It's going to be miserable. The absolute trick about this race is, the real trick is don't break yourself or the crew first night. So this year I'm predicting someone between about 50 and 65 feet.
It just looks dodgy down the Tassie coast, for the next couple of days, and then looking a bit more settled by the time we get there. I think that's the ball game. We'll come through St Helens through to Tasman Island in pretty good shape with some decent pressure, and the big boats will be a bit soft, and the small boats will have been held up with this big southerly change longer than what we will be. Yeah, I think we'll just be staying on Port Jibe and sending it as fast as we can with the building nor'easter, and have a bit of fun before we get the hell kicked out of us tonight. So
on the 28th in the afternoon, there will be good sea breezes on the Tassie coast, and you've got to somehow get from the south winds across to those northeasterlies, and there's a big light patch in between. So the timing of when you do that is quite likely going to be for us the key decision. The news that there's another front coming through that might bring a bit of breeze to those that have got around, as well as those still battling away on the coast, is quite good news for us.
First 4 or 5 hours should be brilliant, and after that it'll be not what this boat likes. So I think the front is reasonably robust, but it does seem reasonably short. So this may be some hope for us out the other side, because it really looks like Swiss cheese. It just holes everywhere. It's very light, which is not that good for us, but if it's light and slightly sprung or slightly off the wind, we can do okay on that.
but I think it's going to be a real tactical lottery. We've never really seen it as vague as it's looking at the moment for maybe the 30 hours after the start. I think small boats should do well, small all-round boats. I suspect it's going to be tough for the big boats, but who knows? I think it's just so vague out the other end, it's very hard to predict.